It's Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in Sacramento inside our Capitol Bureau, joined today by Eloise Reyes, a new member of the California State Assembly. A tremendous victory indeed with the new top two primary. You ran against a Democrat. You are a Democrat, so that's always a little dicey, but you pulled out a tremendous victory in San Bernardino County. How'd you do it?
Lots of help from the community, lots of help from labor, environmental justice groups, just the community in general.
Right.
They wanted to have true representation in the district.
So talk to me about your new job. You were a successful lawyer. You could have just rode that out, but you decided to come up to Sacramento. How's it been?
Wonderful. I came here to work, and I get to work.
Right.
I'm surrounded by great staff. I'm surrounded by people who want to work, people who know that my commitment is to the community.
Right, and your community indeed has had a tough few years.
Yes.
You represent San Bernardino County as well as parts of the city. We think about the bankruptcy, which was hard for the city, and then the absolutely horrific events of December 2nd, that was the date,
Yes.
2015. I still get chills thinking about the 14 whose lives were lost. Talk me through the healing going on in your community.
I think we're still going through the healing process.
I understand.
For many of those who lost their loved ones, we've gone through a process with them. For those who were injured on the job as a result of this attack, they're still suffering. They're trying to get through their workers' comp benefits.
Right, which is what you had done before you came to Sacramento. You know from what you speak.
That's the legislation that I introduced.
We'll talk
specifically,
about that.
Yes.
I will say this, though. I'm honored to cover the Inland Empire. And while that tragedy is unspeakable, I do feel as if the city and county came together in a really special way.
Yes.
Democrats, Republicans, black, brown, white, whatever it is. I think about, I'm getting chills, the vigil at the 66 Stadium. I mean, and even with the year anniversary, I mean, you know, I do feel as if San Bernardino's stronger. Am I right?
Thus the
San
moniker
Bernardino
San Bernardino strong.
Right.
And I think it's so proper. I think that everybody embraces that. We are strong, and we're stronger because of that. There may have been some victims, but we're not victims as a community.
I want to speak about a college that is in your community, San Bernardino Valley College. Right outside your district is Cal State San Bernardino, two fine institutions. I recently interviewed Eli Oakley, who is the chancellor of the California Community College System, and he let me know that 61,000 students at the California community colleges, including some at San Bernardino Valley, are dreamers. They are here and in school legally and working legally because former President Obama signed an executive action which allows students brought here under the age of 15 to be free from deportation.
Correct.
The new president has indicated, at least during the campaign, he's not interested in renewing deferred action. How are your students doing?
There's great fear in the community, without a doubt. We would understand that. I worked with legal aid during the DACA process to help many of our dreamers and many of those applying for DACA coverage. And to see the hope in their faces when they were approved, they can get their Social Security card, they were able to work, they were able to get aid in school. It was a big deal.
Here's what's scary for some.
Now there's a problem.
Yeah, here's what's scary for some. You're an attorney, you know this. You helped people sign up for DACA. What does that mean? They gave their name,
That's right.
their Social Security number, their new one, their date of birth, their home address, their phone number. They may have even been fingerprinted. Arguably, the federal government now has 740,000 names if they want to start deportation proceedings, and they know where they are.
That's right.
I mean, President Obama said we're not going to use this to deport, but it's not legally binding. We have a new president.
That's correct. And most of these dreamers didn't want to fill out the application.
They were
initially.
scared.
That's right. And after reassurances, they finally did do it. And you're right, that is going to be a problem. It has to be addressed. It was one of the questions asked of our Attorney General nominee.
Right, yeah, Mr. Becerra.
Yes.
So what do you do as an advocate for these students, these children, as an attorney, as a legislator, but a state legislator, not a federal legislator.
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, we're going to do everything that we can to try to protect them. We're happy to see that the universities have already indicated that they want to protect the information. But the problem is that the federal government still is going to weigh in on the issue, and we have to see what happens. But it is a concern.
Right, and again, I rely on your legal background. You know that the federal government doles out money. They have discretion how they're going to dole out their money. In the 60s, President Johnson said to southern states, we'll dole out money to you if you desegregate. Mr. Trump has said, yeah, we'll give you money if you give us information on undocumented students. We don't know if he's going to go through with that. But where does California go with this? I mean, what if President Trump is firm and says, you want federal funds? We want help on immigration.
It's going to be an issue that has to be resolved. I'm really proud.
Aren't you glad you're not Javier Becerra, the new Attorney General?
Yes, but I'm very proud of our leaders. I mean, we've taken a very strong stand. We don't know how far the rhetoric is going to go, and we've got to wait and see. We want our people not to despair,
right?
Because we are with them as far as we can be, and we may have to forgo some of the funding. We'll have to see what happens.
And that's the question. I mean, how far do we go as a state to protect? Look, there are neighbors, but they are undocumented. I mean, at a certain level, and I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from, do we just have to say, okay, we've done all that we can, we need to protect our own? I know that's hard to say, but...
But they are our own.
Yeah.
They've been here since a very young age. And I think it's when we start dividing, it's the us and them, that's when the problem comes in. So I don't think we've done enough. I think we can still do more. And I'm looking forward to see what we can do as a legislature.
What about schools and school districts? It's one thing for the state to forego federal funds. It's a very large pot. But a local school district, I mean, many have already declared their sanctuary district, whatever that may mean.
Yes.
You know, if a district in your district were to say, we're under threat of loss of funds, what should we do? What do we say?
Well, we don't want anybody to lose the funds, of course. But sometimes it is a threat. And we have to be able to determine when it is just a threat and when the funds are going to be lost. And again, those are difficult decisions, because the school districts are there for a purpose, and that is to educate those who come through the doors. They're not part of the INS. They aren't the ones who are going to ask about immigration status. They're there to educate, and that's their primary concern.
So what are your goals for year one in the California legislature?
I think my biggest goal is to take the resources and opportunities back to the district.
What does that mean? Talk us through it.
Well, I think that for so long, they've not had anybody who will fight for them, who will ask the questions, who will find out where in the budget we can get some of the funding for programs in our district. The opportunities, we're not seeing those opportunities in our district. We're being told either you get clean air or you get good jobs. And I'm here to say we want both clean air and good jobs. And I think we deserve that. And I think that there are enough people who are concerned about Southern California, and specifically my area, which has lots of land, lots of wonderful people, educated people, but we also have a high poverty level. I think that there are enough investors that will look at our area and realize this is a good area to invest in.
And you'll come back?
Absolutely.
Her name was Eloise Gomez Reyes. She's a new member of the California State Assembly. I'm Brad Pomerance in Sacramento. It's Local Edition.